Hey everybody, welcome to the group chat. It's our first show of 2026. We've been off for a few hours, so it feels like there's been tons and tons and tons of news happening that we have not yet discussed. Honestly, there's been tons and tons of news just in the last couple of days, so we'll see how much of that we can get to. As always, we want to hear your thoughts, your comments, your questions. We encourage you to participate in the show, our community members, and you'll do that by raising your hand, and we'll call you on up at some point. We want to get to as many community member thoughts as we possibly can. As always, I'm asking you to manifest our two-way ethos of love, peace, understanding, and any other positive values we should manifest for 2026. Let's be...
Grace.
What's that, Emma Jo?
Grace. The last thing is grace. Peace,
grace,
love, understanding, and grace.
I endorse that.
I was going to say generosity of spirit, very similar thing to grace. So that's a great idea. I am joined, of course, by Emma Jo Morris, Nina Turner, and this week Steve Olikara. We're greatly excited to have all of you back, and also our community members to participate with us. Okay, enough of that. Let's get to the news. Obviously, the major topic, news story that has been absolutely dominating social media for the last 24 hours is a tragic one. The killing of this woman, Renee Nicole Good, in Minneapolis, who was shot by an ICE officer. There's footage of the incident all over social media. Probably many of you have seen it. It is touching off a huge debate. First, a broad debate about what ICE is doing, what its mission is, people happy and not happy about that overall, but then also just the specific kind of litigating this video itself. She was in a car as she was shot. Was the officer justified in making that shot? Did he have a reasonable fear for his life as the vehicle was coming at him? That is something everybody I see on social media is arguing one way or the other. Some people with a lot of confidence one way or the other, frankly, a lot more confidence than I feel on the topic, having watched the video about 600 times. So let's get to that. I think we should start by playing that video footage in case anyone hasn't seen it, so we're all discussing the same thing. I should warn people that it is somewhat graphic. I don't think we'll show the part where you do very sadly see the body or some blood afterward, but it is a video of a shooting into a car. So don't watch if you don't want to see that. Let's go ahead and play that now. And I see we have the volume off, which is probably a good idea because there's lots of expletives. But the shots come right about now. There, you can see the smoke from it. And actually, the gunfire comes from someone who is in front of the vehicle. From that angle, it looks like the officer you can more clearly see on the side. That's not the officer who fires. There's a lot of different angles too. And maybe we should play a reaction from, so everyone has weighed in, from Kristi Noem to Tim Walz, Jacob Frey, the mayor of Minneapolis. Let's get the Walz soundbite on there, if we can.
I have a very simple message. We do not need any further help from the federal government. To Donald Trump and Kristi Noem, you've done enough. There's nothing more important than Minnesotan safety. I've issued a warning order to prepare the Minnesota National Guard. We have soldiers in training and prepared to be deployed if necessary. I remind you, a warning order is a heads up for folks. And these National Guard troops are our National Guard troops. They're teachers in your community. They're business owners. They're construction professionals. They are Minnesotans. Minnesota will not allow our community to be used as a prop in a national political fight. We will not take the bait. We will continue to update you, Minnesota, as we get more information.
All right, so let's start with the specifics of the actual footage in question before we have like a broader conversation about ICE. Stephen, I'll kick it to you here first. Look, I've watched the video a lot. I see a lot of confidence from people on social media that it was absolutely justified, case closed, for the officer to shoot someone who was coming at him in her car. I see a lot of certainty from the other side, too, that this was totally unjustified and you can't just shoot people willy-nilly, even if they're, disobeying police orders. And maybe she was confused about the police orders. Who knows? I don't know. I can't tell from looking at it. And I think probably some cooler heads are going to have to evaluate whether the threshold for lethal force was met. Where are you at?
Well, we're not hearing from those cooler heads right now. I mean, first things first, this was an absolute tragedy. Miss Good should not have lost her life, and my heart goes out to her entire family. And to your point, Robby, a lot of people are saying exactly what they think happened, but even though we may not know exactly what Miss Good's intention was, I personally believe it was very likely she was trying to get away as opposed to running over an ICE agent. What we know for sure is that what President Trump said is wrong. There was no ICE agent that was run over, and the video from every angle clearly sees that. No ICE agent walked away with any injuries. And so I think that really underscores the second tragedy that's happening here, which is a tragedy of political spin and polarization. It's all about us versus them right now. And you lose all the nuance and the thoughtfulness and care that should really go into this story and this investigation. I mean, when you have video like this, political spin doesn't work when you have video receipts. And I think it's morally and politically wrong to deny what people can see with their own eyes, to basically be a conflict entrepreneur and turn us against each other. So that, I think, is a parallel tragedy along with the biggest one, which is Miss Good lost her life.
Emma Jo, I'm seeing a lot of reaction from conservatives, again, along the line that it's open shut case. Kristi Noem, I believe, said this was that she was attempting some act of terrorism. I don't know how you can, even if you think it was justified to take lethal action, how you can be like already understanding what her motivations were. It does seem to me like she was trying to leave the scene, not run him over. Now, you can't just ignore a police order because you feel like it. That doesn't, magically make what she did okay. But what's your thoughts?
Okay, yeah, I have a lot of thoughts going through my mind. Obviously watching this as I'm listening to you both, Stephen and Robby, speak. Haven't heard from Nina yet. I'm like trying to keep my veins all intact for when it's Nina's turn. But first of all, the video that we played just now was not the video, the angle that I saw, or at least there was another angle that I saw where, first of all, the officer does get clipped. I think it's conflict entrepreneurship to say that video isn't circulating. He absolutely is made, like contact with him is made with the car. This actually specific officer, by the way, previously has experience being run over by an illegal alien and dragged under a car by an illegal alien in a prior incident. So that's the individual officer that we are talking about. And this specific scenario where she did hit him. Second of all of that aside, I don't know, like when your dad taught you to drive, when you were younger, was one of the first lessons you were taught, as a sentient human being and 17 or 18-year-old, if you ever have an interaction with police, do not do anything sudden. Listen to everything the officer says clearly, answer all of his questions, and obey all of his orders. Is that not basic safety for anyone with the driver's license? What this woman was whipping the car around. And by the way, we did know her motivation. Her motivation was to block officers and block traffic. It was an ICE protest that she was there to do. And she's being ordered by officers to take instructions and refuses, then smacks an officer with the car. They have 1 second to make a decision. This is, by the way, again, an officer that had previously been injured by a car and an illegal alien in a car. He has a split second. He can't defend himself after he's dead. And it's conflict entrepreneurship to say, what was this woman doing? And the officer has the right to use lethal force. It will be litigated about whether he was right or wrong. And I was actually listening, Breitbart is excellent this way because they have callers, they have the best callers, Breitbart Radio, and they had multiple cops calling in. And it's not clear, it depends apparently based on the department what the rule is about using lethal force versus a car, but a car can kill you. And that's pretty obvious. If again, like you have any common sense. So I think it's way much to judge this officer. And I also think it's way much to say that she was what are the activists saying? She was an observer? No one would act that way in front of an officer. They're armed.
Nina, weigh in here. Give us the other side. I mean, not to put a perspective in your mouth if you're going to surprise me with your take, but I don't think so.
Yeah, Robbie, I'm not going to surprise you. I mean, there's only one side. There's right and wrong. To Emma Jo's point about a vehicle being a weapon, obviously, law enforcement officers can be killed in a routine traffic stop. My son is in law enforcement, so I fear for his life every single day. Local law enforcement, though, is trained differently from these renegades that we got running around here in ICE. They are improperly trained, and they are being stoked up to declare war on U.S. citizens. As far as I am concerned, President Donald J. Trump has weaponized ICE, weaponized other citizens against other citizens. Now, Ms. Good was a U.S. citizen. So since that means a whole lot more, as far as I'm concerned, even if it was an undocumented person, local law enforcement is trained, even though they might not operate that way all the time, to de-escalate. I saw all the angles, and there was absolutely no reason for this ICE agent to shoot Nicole Good, a 37-year-old mother, in the head. No rationale whatsoever to do what this officer did. The Trump administration is spinning this. They're lying this. This is why they don't want the Minnesota state officials to get involved. The mayor should arrest that ICE officer just as if it was a regular person on the streets in Minneapolis and that had happened, they would have been arrested. Let's do a full-fledged investigation, and President Donald J. Trump should have at least the morality to recognize that this is not going to go well. You got the governor, Walt, saying, hey, I see you, and I'm about to up the National Guard. We are on the verge of civil wars, little civil wars all across the United States of America. Local government and state government, they have rights as well. And this just should have never happened. And you know what? I pulled the use of force. Okay, let's. A DHS may use deadly force only when they have a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury. And that could be to that officer or to somebody else. Robbie, I agree with your observation that, because there's speculation out there that she was getting mixed
Right.
Signals. That one officer might have been telling her, get out the way, and other officers may have been telling her to stop. We don't know. We can't hear. That is a possibility. But just because somebody is getting mixed signals, does that mean that you use your weapon to shoot them in the head? I am outraged by this. This is not about picking partisan sides. If this had happened under the Biden administration, I would feel exactly the same way. I am pained, though. I mean, I'm absolutely pained that it appears that President Donald J. Trump has declared war on Minnesota. He has declared war on states and municipalities that are controlled by Democrats. And this is reckless, it is wrong, it is more immoral, and now Miss Good's baby now don't have her mother over some foolishness.
Emma Jo, you want a quick
Yeah, I wanted
reaction? Then I did definitely want to get to our community members. We got a lot of hands right now.
Yeah, come on, Nina.
No,
You're being told, let's say she was being told two different things by two different things, and you're
I mean, that does happen. I don't know that that's happened this time. I've seen videos where that's
It's
happened.
possible.
No, but
It could be.
sure, it could be possible.
Yeah.
In that situation, you're a rational person with a kid. Do you goose it?
Are you blaming Nicole Good for her being dead?
I think that her death is a tragedy. It was an avoidable tragedy.
I'll say one point of agreement I do have with Emma Jo is that I don't think, regardless of what rhetoric may have been said back and forth, I think it's wrong for Ms. Good to be rushing off in her car, and it does appear that one of the agents was sort of hit, or not hit, but nicked, and that's not right either. And that's an example of the type of nuance I think our country is starving for. I think that Miss Good made some mistakes, but obviously the much bigger mistake is that this agent should not have shot and killed her. That's a mistake that you can't come back from. And I don't think we got the kind of nuance we need from the Minneapolis mayor, frankly. I think that we need leaders who are able to elevate the conversation and not further fuel the fire. And for any politicians who are tuning in and say, because I hear this all the time, well, I can't cut through unless I'm very vitriolic and I'm fiery. Well, I just encourage you to look at Governor Spencer Cox after Charlie Kirk. He did elevate the conversation and he did cut through. I don't naively think that every political leader is going to be a great leader, but this was an example of missed leadership too.
I agree with you.
I don't agree with that. I do not agree with that.
The second thing that I wanted to say
don't
for
agree with
Nina
that.
in reaction was, you said something that I think everybody is feeling, which is obviously that there is this hot conflict between ICE and democratic states and cities where they're going in to enforce the law, where they're going to do their job. But as far as I understand, and I don't think this is partisan, as far as I understand, there was a mandate. Donald Trump won the election. He won every single swing state, and he promised in that election that
let's circle back to the
hold on.
broader
No, it's not. This is not a minor
here.
point. This is actually the nut of this, which is Democrats violently react to Donald Trump winning the election and enacting his agenda that the American people voted on, which was mass deportations carried out by ICE. In response, they're doing violent protests. They're shooting at officers. They're throwing things at officers. There was another guy in Minneapolis that has been glazed over in this news cycle who reached for an officer's weapon, and he got sprayed in the face with tear gas or something.
Joe, why are we conflating things? I do not agree.
Out violently at ICE, and this is what happened.
That doesn't.
I do not
things
agree
happen.
with any
I want to keep it focused on this
attacking law enforcement. Okay, let me go on the record to say that. I just told you guys, my son is in law enforcement. So I don't want anybody bumping up against my son because they got a vendetta, because the system is definitely broken. So they're going to take it out on my baby. Okay. But that does not give ICE the right to do what they are doing and going in and terrorizing local municipalities. They are being weaponized. I don't agree with people attacking ICE agents because they're mad at President Donald J. Trump. Yes, he won the popular vote. Yes, he won the Electoral College. But a lot of people that voted for the president have buyer's remorse. The president is in a position to use diplomacy nationally and internationally. And time again, he is failing to do that. And even before Imogen, why not call for an investigation, even if you think what ICE did was right? But for Kristi Noem and the president
needs to be an investigation
to come out and say, "Oh, nothing was done wrong."
Right.
No.
Because
clearly there needs to be an investigation.
Who have knowledge in applying the standard that you read, Nina, because we should all keep in mind, it could be the case. In fact, this is kind of where I lean toward thinking that someone who understands what the use of force threshold is and applies it says it could be the case that according to the use of force threshold, it was justifiable in his situation for him to do that, even though that is leads to an unfortunate and unnecessary outcome. It can't be prosecuted. It could still be. I mean, no one brings up like that after she is shot and killed, then the car careens out of control and crashes into something. What if that had crashed into another person? Like,
that's right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
I'm not sure that I want, police to fire wildly into because a vehicle is a
That's
dangerous
right.
thing. I mean, this is what conservatives are saying, and they're right about that. The
No,
vehicle
it
itself
is.
coming at him is dangerous, but that's not to say that it was necessarily done improperly or that he violated the law. That's something that has to be weighed in by someone else. But it could be both.
But Robby,
that was a bad thing. It
do
sucks,
something,
and there's not, and everyone wants to go like, oh my God, obvious murder, totally unjustified, or I know it was absolutely justified. He should have done it like that, even more so. which I don't understand. Okay, we got to get some questions. We got tons of people who want to
Just
participate.
because you can do something, though, doesn't mean that you should
Sure.
do something.
Okay, we're going to Tom first. Tom, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Let us know what's on your mind.
Sure, thank you all. I'm mixed. It's a bad result. It's a tragic result. There's a lot of things that could have been avoided, but I think there's what probably there has to be first is a true investigation, not a side spouting off. There probably the real maybe challenge here is the police or the law enforcement technique of putting somebody in front of that car, okay, and positioning himself. You guys say clipped. The video I saw knocked the officer down, right? It just wasn't a clip. He went to the hospital. Maybe not major issues, okay? However, I'm sure that woman did not go there to harm anyone. I think, yeah, she was an activist and doing her thing. That's fine. To Nina's point, could have been, I agree that the investigation and a de-escalation should have been done. But however, I've been always taught when I get pulled over, hands up or hands on the wheel. And yes, when the police tells you to do something, I listen, okay? But that's the way I was raised, and that's the way it's always been. Now, I can't tell you what's in that lady's mind, but maybe she panicked. Maybe she was just scared and reacted that way. Did she try to hit the officer? I really don't think so. Did she hit the officer? Absolutely. Okay. Now, was the officer, I know you can't say that a past experience, he's been dragged, put in the hospital before. His job and his only job is to protect himself, his colleagues, and the people behind him. No, and you all saw the car crash off there after the lady was shot in the head. As a police officer, Nina, you probably know this from your son. You don't pull your weapon unless you stop the threat. It's not you shoot the guy in the leg or something. It's a tool. It's a last resort tool, but that person reacted that way. Now, I think we should all hold back and de-escalate, let the people investigate, interview. Might have been some confusion, there might have been things we can learn from this so it doesn't happen again. Regardless where the officer might be there because he was told to do his job, that woman probably felt what she was doing. She was activating her beliefs, and she thought maybe what she was doing is peaceful protest. I think the whole day has to be looked upon. I mean, I'm hearing all different stories, but until the true facts come out, documented facts, I think we should all just relax and be upset about the tragic event and what we can do in the future not to have it again. But I think we all have to listen and get all the facts, whether it be state, whether it be federal investigation. And that's all I just wanted to comment on. I mean, I understand no one wants to see someone killed, especially a young mother. We don't want to have the cop either killed, okay? That's not the purpose of this, but that's what happened. So we can learn from it, fix it. Is it a procedural issue? Is it the way people perceive different things? I think that's yet to be solved, but I think we all have to relax a little bit.
That's Tom, I agree with every word you just said. I want to emphasize something you said too on the, like, I field this question all the time, and I myself, naively, a long time ago, before I knew more about criminal justice and police procedures, I had made this argument too. So I know better, and I was wrong. I hear this all the time. They'll go like, well, why didn't they just shoot the person in the leg? Or why didn't they just, no, the police are only trained, if they're firing at all, it is to neutralize a threat. They aim for your torso, because that is to maximize opportunity of bringing you down. Only, like, on spy shows, in movies and television, secret agents can like wound you in the leg or something. In real life, that is not a thing. That is not part of police training. If they shot toward your leg at the ground, the bullet could ricochet and hit someone else. It's not a thing. It's not what they're expected or trained to do. Let's get one more comment and then keep our own discussion going.
Like, I mean, that's an important point. You don't shoot to like delay, hobble. Right. You have to shoot to kill.
That could present a greater risk to other people.
Yeah, and the person could keep going, presumably if they have a gun or whatever.
All right, who do we have? I can't see
Alan.
it. Hey, thanks for being with us. What's on your mind?
Thank you, Robbie. Thank you, Nina. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Emma. So my take on this is it's an absolute tragedy. Yeah, the woman did not deserve to die. Um, However, you, you have to obey law enforcement's orders and not try to run. Whether she was scared, whatever was going through her head, you can't flee from law enforcement. And I don't think she deserved to die, but um, Nina had brought up the fact that there needs to be better training, or ICE agents aren't trained for these police stops, and I can concede that point. They probably aren't trained to do this. However, there is the supremacy clause in the Constitution where federal law does supersede state law, and with the sanctuary city policies not working hand in hand with ICE, if there was Minneapolis or the police, regular local law enforcement on the ground stopping her, this probably would have had a different outcome. So, that's one of the points. And then the whole fleeing thing, I'm hearing fleeing everywhere from left-leaning news sources. They're acting like she was. When you hear the word flee, you typically think someone's running away from you and the cop just shot the woman in the back, right? You don't flee from cops. You don't flee from police. You follow orders. You do those things. Again, it's a tragedy. I don't think she deserved to die. And then I saw in the chat, people are like, the agents refused medical service from a doctor who offered his help on the side. And again, we can all say, yeah, that's the right thing to do. But do those agents know he's a doctor? Do those agents, what if he was a second actor in it? Worst case scenario, all these things could have happened. You have to wait for the proper medical authorities to come, the EMS, and do all those things. Again, training needs to happen, but this would have ended up a lot better if local law enforcement was able to assist us rather than stand by and not let anything happen. And those are my thoughts, and appreciate your time.
Yeah, I
Let's
agree on
let's
the.
definitely
Go ahead, Stephen.
just very briefly, I think, and we're hearing this from a few folks, that in this conversation, we have to elevate the need for better training for ICE agents and for law enforcement. And you hear a lot about de-escalation. I do think there are other options available that does not involve killing Miss Good. And so I think there was a big conversation about training and police reform conversations 5 to 8 years ago. It needs to be back in a very big and vigorous way, because they clearly are not being trained properly to take on these very difficult, intense situations.
They shouldn't have been there in the first place.
How are you supposed to? What's a better way? What's a better way for one to respond, a man to respond when there's how many pounds does a car weigh? Like 2,000, 1,000? When there's a car like goosing toward you and hitting you, what is like? Should he have talked to her? Should he have talked to her better? Like, what is it? How is this a training conversation? She smacked him with her car.
Yeah, but it speaks to the motive. I mean, someone is backed into my car, but another car does that. I didn't
Backed into your car about you being standing as a law enforcement officer, talking to a civilian, and her smacking you with her car.
Right, but it matters, again, from a legal standpoint, it matters.
Bumping Robby,
did he have reasonable fear for his life? So then
how fast hit him?
Well, okay, but a car can hit you going 1 mile per hour and you don't have any reasonable fear for your life. It can hit you going 100 miles per hour and you do. So that's why all of these other things matter. The speed matters, and I've seen it both ways. I've seen videos of this on social media where they speed it up, and so then it looks like she ran him down with malice. I've also seen videos where they slow it down, which then it looks like he had every opportunity in the world to think about what he's doing and get out of the way and chose a gun. So neither of those are fair. And this is why all of these things are going to matter about, okay, how fast was it? Was she being given conflicted instructions? Was he, where exactly was he in relation to the car? Yes, the one bullet goes through the front. So maybe that speaks to his side. Like, all these things are going to have to be looked at. And And
I'm
that
just curious. I'm just curious how we augment training for one to respond when there's a car coming at them.
She wasn't craning at him out of control like that. He was far enough away. He wasn't the first two officers to be in the pathway of her vehicle. And the point that Robby is making about we don't know what was being said to her. She could have legitimately, there are times where people legitimately try to use their vehicle against law enforcement. And Emma Jo, your point about, yes, anybody who would say that a vehicle cannot be used as a weapon, they're out of their minds. Was she trying to use her vehicle as a weapon? We do not know. But what we do know,
and
I
was
wanna-
his thought that it was reasonable. The biggest question
you know what?
was his view that that's what she's doing reasonable in that moment.
No, it's
That
not.
will be
As far as I'm concerned, it's not. But you know what? Let the investigation. Robby and Stephen, I want to go back to something you guys said. I know Stephen said for sure. So the mayor didn't comport himself with the type of dignity and diplomacy. Are you kidding me? His city has been under attack by the president of the United States of America. You want this man to walk up there and say that everything is okay. Somebody just got shot in the head in his city. And I believe that he showed the requisite emotion for the moment. When President Donald J. Trump gets up there talking all kinds of smack at all times, stoking people at all times, not once have I heard this president try to bring down the temperature on anything. I don't begrudge the mayor for saying that because it appears that the president, that he has declared war on the cities in his own country, in the states in the United States of America, because he has a war against Democrats and he is weaponizing ICE.
Yeah, and I agree on the premise that he is weaponizing ICE, and ICE shouldn't be doing a lot of things that they're doing. And I do believe, as we just talked about, they should be a lot better trained. But I do think that I look at this from the lens of what is the ordinary person going to see? And the ordinary person basically saw the clip where he says, "Get the F out of Minneapolis."
Yeah, go.
And
And
I
one
feel
that where he ruled out that it was legitimate self-defense. He ruled. There was another where he said, "Oh, get again." Democrats all got the message. Maybe you can speak to this, Stephen, to start swearing or something to be more relatable to the public.
Well,
Yeah.
the president swears all the time.
Okay, yeah, but I'm not in favor of that either. I'm very much not in favor of Trump's contributions to this situation. But go ahead, Stephen.
Yeah, exactly. And I do not look to Trump as my example of a leader who can elevate the conversation. So he very clearly brought us into the gutter with this conversation by saying things that are patently false that you can see in the video evidence here. But at the same time, and look, I'm not expecting every elected official to be perfect. And I agree that there is a lot of emotion. You're on the ground. This mayor is really feeling it. At the same time, and Robby referenced this, I think the mayor knows what he's doing when he says, "Get the F out of Minneapolis." He knows that clip is going to go everywhere. And I think that when you have a platform like that, I would like to see him channel that emotion towards real change that people can enact on the ground, and for people who in the community who are very emotional about this, wondering what can they do. You channel that towards things like peaceful protest, towards reform, towards things that people can concretely do. And I think that would help reduce some of the polarization around this issue.
Well, Attorney General Ellison put out very eloquent statements about protest peacefully, protect your neighbors, watch your neighbors. I would rather have Ms. Good alive than care about whether or not the mayor used the F-bomb here or there.
I mean, I agree. Obviously, one thing you're saying is infinitely more important than the other. Completely agree on that. And Miss Good will never get her life back. At the same time, I expect and call on our leaders to be better in tragedy.
Are we allowed to discuss the two things that this leader has done that I think are declaring war on the American people? Firstly, allowing illegal immigration to exist in the city, which is war on the American people, in my opinion. And second of all, of course, total invasion of our country, actually, and impeding our sovereignty. Second of all, I think it's war on the American people and actually on this woman, if you want to absolve her somehow, then how is this mayor allowing this chaos to and lawlessness to exist in his constituency? How is he, why did he have, if he knew that there were people riled up, which the left has been organizing in Minneapolis for already weeks already, and they're so public about it. But if you look at the lead on Breitbart too, it's all of the organizing of violent protesting that the left is doing in Minneapolis. He obviously knows this. He's allowed
January
to
6th.
escalate and to run around.
January 6th. Did they storm, Emma Jo, did they storm the Capitol in the great state of Minnesota? Did they jump on law enforcement? Did they do any of that? Why are you calling people lawless?
I'm not going to litigate.
The Constitution gives people the right, the last time I checked, to assemble.
You absolutely don't have the right to get up
and if they are not protesting peacefully, then let local law enforcement handle it.
Yes, exactly.
Local
I agree.
law
I agree.
Not ICE.
I agree.
If ICE wasn't there, Emma Jo, Ms. Good would still be alive.
Okay, ICE, we don't get to just pretend.
We don't need ICE.
We don't get to eliminate ICE from the story because ICE is
we don't need them for that
duty. But yes, local law enforcement absolutely should have been there imposing order. Yes.
How do you know that it was not orderly, though?
We got a lot more
How do you know it wasn't orderly?
Let's get another.
Because the woman's dead.
Let's get
because I shot her in the head.
Shouldn't have been allowed that close.
Who we got?
Oh my God, Lord Jesus, Black Jesus, help me.
Hello there. Is that who we got there? I can't see right now. Hi.
First of all, I kind of take exception.
Rex. Thank you for being with us. Go ahead.
I kind of take exception to the fact that, Nina, you say tone down the rhetoric, and then you refer to all ICE agents as renegades. That's not really toning down the rhetoric.
I don't know why you're taking offense to that, Rex. I defend ICE agents. I said that no citizen has the right to attack ICE agents because they're upset with President Donald J. Trump.
But at the same time,
don't conflate, Rex Williams. Don't conflate what I said.
No, I'm not conflating what you say. I'm repeating.
Don't conflate it. Well, I'm just telling you what I said.
You referred to renegade.
I didn't use the word renegade. Go back and roll the tape. What I said is that the president of the United States of America is weaponizing other citizens against other citizens. Those ICE agents are being told what to do, and they are doing what they are being told. They need to work. They need to feed their families. They are following orders. My contention is that they should not be given the orders that they are given to declare war on other citizens. And I'm talking about the systemic nature of ICE in this situation only.
No, you did say renegades. You did.
Well, Rex,
I would not have brought up the word had you not said it.
Okay, so what's your and I just told you that I am not maligning all of ICE.
We'll finish this point and then we'll come back to you, Nina.
Let me go to my next point. The other thing is, now all of a sudden we're assuming this ICE agent that shot this woman, well, he wasn't trained properly. He only had 6 weeks instead of 12 weeks or whatever it is. We don't know that. That's an assumption. We don't know how he was trained. Do we?
I don't have that information. I know that I believe.
We don't know. So there's a lot of assuming and things on here.
Here's the point. Local law enforcement is trained differently, Rex Williams, than ICE agents. Would you agree with that?
I'll agree with that.
Okay.
Right. And it would be preferable, like, for instance, I'm in D.C. where we have the National Guard, and I have mixed feelings about the National Guard presence. I think it's done some good for the city of D.C. Certainly, one of the good things is some control of the teen bad behavior we have in the city is good. Again, I'm not necessarily against it. On the bad, there have been encounters between National Guard guardsmen and people on their own property where they're, for instance, like smoking marijuana or something, which is legal in the city of D.C., but they're National Guards members from somewhere else in the country, so they might not be familiar or might be enforcing laws that are unique to our area. So that would be my concern about, national or different police sent versus the information the local police have. But to the Trump administration's point, they're saying well, the local police officers are not enforcing immigration law, and so we have to take this step to have the federal, and also courts have said immigration is a national policing issue, not a local issue. So
then the other thing is, I voted for mass deportations. That's what I wanted. President Biden allowed a mass influx of people into this country, which was wrong. No way of getting around that. It was wrong. So now you have a situation that Donald Trump said he was going to deport mass deportations. And I say, great, do it. The unfortunate thing is, yeah, you can grab the worst and the baddest, but at the same time, you're also going to swoop up some people, maybe here 20 years, that have been here illegally, and yeah, they're eligible for deportation too. And you can't be one way or the other. You either want to have the people deported and people come into the country correctly, not jump the line in front of people who are taking the test and doing it the right way. Come on,
Rex, may I ask you a question?
Yeah, you can ask me anything.
Are you familiar with President Trump allowing a number, I forget the exact number, but a certain number of Afrikaners from
7,000.
South
The
Africa?
white ones.
Are you familiar with that?
Yes.
And
I
he
didn't
made a
I didn't
special.
understand that.
Okay.
I didn't
All right.
understand that.
Okay, fair enough.
I didn't
Fair
understand
enough.
it.
Fair
His reason, supposedly his reason for that was that there was genocide happening or something like
Yeah,
that.
but he that was a lie, number
Which
one.
was-
But
yeah,
they
which
jumped
wasn't
the
proven,
line.
yeah,
But
which
Rex,
wasn't proven.
did you vote for American citizens to be shot in the head by
Oh,
ICE
give me a-
agents?
Give me a break.
About stop it, Nina. Come
Did
on.
you?
Did
That's a-
Rex vote for American
Nina,
citizens to be shot?
Nina,
have
you're
people's
a smart
quality of
person.
life gotten better?
Nina, you're a smart person. And
Oh,
that's
I'm extraordinary. No, I'm more
that's
than
a
smart.
stupid question.
I'm
well,
more than
I don't know
smart.
if that's a stupid question.
I'm
I mean,
more than
if we're
smart.
going to do, you, sir, said
I
that
am
you want
extraordinarily
Nina,
intelligent.
let me take it, Nina.
Wait, hold
If
on, Robbie.
you-
No.
if
When
you
when
say
Rex
that mass
refers to
deportations
me,
is
I am
something-
extraordinarily intelligent, Mr.
Well,
Rex
that's what he was
Williams.
saying. He said you were. He said you were.
No. He said I was smart. I just want to clarify. I'm extraordinarily
You're a genius.
intelligent.
We know you are.
I am a genius.
What I was going to say to you, Sir Rex, is that you said you said this. You voted for mass deportations. That's including people who are otherwise law-abiding but have been here legally a long time. And what people will say in response, that doesn't mean, but to do the level of law enforcement necessary, to do the level of deportations you want, okay, then that costs a lot more money. That means police from all over the place. How many times I'll be selfish. How many times am I willing to be pulled over by the police because they're checking everybody's papers? Not very often, my friend. Now, you're saying you voted for it and that's what you want. But there's a level at which it will be so obnoxious and have so many third-party harms that maybe not you, but I think some other people will be saying, if you look at the polling, say, well, I voted for the violent people to go, but not to have armed guards on every street in America to check everybody's immigration papers. Maybe that is what you want. That's not what I want.
That is not what the polling says at all. The polling says that there's widespread support for mass deportations of illegal.
Why is Trump's approval rating at like 35% then?
Because we haven't supported anyone.
Part, Robbie.
We won't have a free
We have
society.
not supported anyone.
Just do it, but harder is a
If we have a police state in communities all across the country that would be required to carry out the policy that you're talking about, Rex, which I disagree with. But I think the piece that came up during the last campaign that had a little bit more support across the aisle was the idea of law enforcement working with communities that are violent or with people who have broken the law, criminals, and deporting some of those individuals. There was a little bit more support around that. But the idea of law-abiding individuals who've been here for 20 plus years and taking them all out across the country is obviously not feasible. It's insanely expensive. No one would like that. We could go into that topic further, but I'm guessing, Robbie, we have to keep going.
Democrats can wax about how expensive it is and how annoying it would be and how much of a headache it is is and how it's too military. People voted for mass deportations. You know what's expensive? Paying for hospital visits, paying for schooling, paying for Social Security. Do you know what the rates are of welfare of illegal aliens and and immigrants versus native born Americans? It's like times 10. It's times 10 the amount of expenses that we pay. 60%. Housing has gone up 60% by immigration. The amount that
I would love to debate. I would love to debate that more.
In comparison to the amount that it would cost, and even if you wanted to say that it would cost more to take them out, that is not relevant. People voted to take them out. It's unbelievable to me as a Trump voter and just as somebody who was alive a year ago when the election happened, that we can now start to parse and split hairs about what the Trump voter actually meant when they voted for mass deportation. They voted for mass deportations. And the obstruction and violence perpetrated against ICE and perpetrated against the people who voted for this by the left is outrageous, is unacceptable.
I'm very, very tempted to get into that debate, but I really want to talk about Venezuela. So I don't know if we want to jump into that, Robby.
I think we can stick with this if we're still cooking. We got a lot more hands still. Let's get another community member, and if someone wants to take the conversation a different direction, be my guest. But
how much have the Somali scammers, by the way, costed just in Minnesota?
All right, let's take a.
Lord.
Let's save that. I think we're going to remain in the great state of Minnesota for the duration of this conversation, but maybe I'm about to find out otherwise. Thank you so much for joining us, sir. What's on your mind? We got somebody up on deck. I can't see. Mitch, that's Mitch?
Oh, hi, Robby.
There you are.
Thank you for taking my call. I love the program, by the way.
Thank you.
I had a couple comments. First, Emma, one thing about law enforcement, you cannot allow previous incidents to affect how you react to the incident at hand. If that were the case, we would have a lot more incidents like what happened yesterday happening all over our country. You mentioned a couple times that he was previously hit and drugged by a car. Can we agree with that?
So I would agree with you if it was my Mac and I was typing in a prompt to my computer or my ChatGPT, and I said, please do not allow the previous chat to impact the answer to the following question. This is a man. So yes, of course, ideally, and this is a big thing in police training, right? Where you try to filter out kind of like your humanity as much as you can in your decision making. But, you know, given this history, given the amount of time, which is seconds that he has to make a decision, yes, I agree. Ideally, do I think that you can train that out? Do I think that you can update training in order to account for it more than we already do, given that an officer is a man and not a computer? I don't know. I don't think so.
And I agree. We can't just erase our memory, but again, if it's somebody that you knew and you cared for that was shot, and the answer was, well, you know, he had an incident with a vehicle before, I think possibly you would feel differently.
Well,
right. If it was affecting his judgment.
Thought that he had a previous incident is that she, again, if somebody I knew had driven a car into a police officer, I'd be devastated that they died. But I would think, why? Like when I don't know about you guys, but like when I get pulled over, my hands go on the wheel and I stay still.
As do mine. But we have seen for months, ICE are not police officers. These are not people that are telling you to put your hands on the wheel, asking for your license or registration. Yeah, they are acting first and asking questions afterwards. We have seen people have their face smushed on the pavement.
And children too.
Children, women, it doesn't make a difference.
Doesn't matter.
Okay. So
doing what?
Speaking of PTSD, there is a history with American citizens being brutalized by ICE. So we can't say this guy's already been hit by a car. That's why he acted that way. But then at the other hand, not say, well, this woman has seen people in Minneapolis and in Chicago and in Portland and in LA brutalized by ICE. You can't have it both ways in my eyes.
I have a hard
There it
time
is.
thinking that you could take like the law into your own hands or whatever. Like you're saying she was like acting out of righteous indignation.
No, I'm just
He
saying
never
that you,
said
you
Is
can't.
there a world where you go up to a cop and think that you're going to enforce your personal justice or your feelings on that cop and think that you're going to come out in one piece? I never heard of that. I don't think that's appropriate, and I don't think that's safe. I don't think that's good judgment for an adult.
Well,
I think that if you
again,
do that, you're going to get hurt, obviously.
I know my time is
Be
limited.
outraged. You could be
There-
morally outraged. You could feel violated by ICE. All of you're entitled to those feelings. You are not. If you're
So-
going to go up to a cop or ICE and try to impose your will or your values on them, obviously in this case violently,
So in the Chicago
you're gonna have
neighborhoods
like a rude surprise.
where ICE was pulling American citizens out of their homes, was that okay when they were not posing a threat? They were not resisting. They did not have a weapon. Is that okay to treat them that way?
I don't know.
No, but in response,
I'm
you
talking
can't
about people
resist,
who are
right?
protesting ICE who physically get up in ICE's face.
But no, but
physically
I'm
confront them.
saying even citizens or undocumented people who are following the orders get roughed up too. Is that okay?
So what we're saying is they're under arrest.
Is that okay? No,
being
just
under
roughed
arrest is
up.
rough.
Just roughed up. Them
All
using
right. It's not
power
okay,
that
but
way.
it can't be the case that just because other police have acted wrongly toward whomever that you get to right. You can't. And I think it would be helpful if in lefty or maybe this is just lefty liberal protest circles, if it would be helpful if organizers promoted the idea that in interactions with the police, you do exactly what you're told for your own safety and the safety of those around you. Absolutely. At the same time, again, I don't know about this. I remember being pulled over as a teenager, and the first thing they ask you your name, and I told them the wrong name because it's a stressful situation. Like I said, I'm whoever.
Did they rough you
Like,
up,
it's-
Robbie?
No, they didn't rough
Did
me
they
up.
beat you
But
down?
Well, I'm speaking to what you're saying. It can be stressful to talk to the police, and you get it wrong, and people barking orders at you from different directions.
She
I'm
was
not saying that's
clearly
what's
in
happened. I
fight.
don't know.
She was clearly in fight or flight, and I just want to finish with this really quick, Emma.
Yeah.
Regardless of this guy's previous incidents with vehicles, he came around the car like this. I don't know if he was filming for social media or he didn't have his body cam on, but his phone was out. And if he was so scared of the vehicles, or vehicles in general, why was he in front of the car and to the side of the car when he fired?
Well, I think
That's
they were
one
trying to
part.
control her movement because she was trying to block them or approach them in the car. So what seems obvious from the footage, I mean, I think we just disagree on what's appropriate. But anyway, it seems like they were trying to control her movement.
She did reverse
interact
prior
with
to
her.
going forward.
Well, right, but
Deadly-
the gun doesn't
the
come out
fleeing-
until the car
Robbie,
starts moving forward.
Correct, but I'm
fleeing
saying I think
subject-
if she was using, the vehicle as a weapon, as Miss Nome said last night, a half an
Deadly
hour after
force shall
this.
not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject.
Right.
Nina, I'm going to end with this. If we're really using ICE to make America safer, in the chat, I wrote the 5 states in the U.S. with the highest murder rate per capita:
Okay.
Mississippi, Louisiana, Alabama, New Mexico, and Tennessee. It's strange. ICE has not gone to any of these places except for a few people in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So
I
to
wonder
me, it
why.
seems like it's a revenge tour against Democratic cities and mayors.
There it is.
And I'll leave you with that. Thank you guys for your time. I enjoyed
Thank you, Mitch.
this.
Yeah,
very
and
much.
Mitch's
you.
last
There
point.
it
Thank
is.
you, Mitch.
ICE
Thank
isn't there to
Mitch.
solve murders. They're there to deport illegal aliens, just so we're clear. They're
Yeah,
not
I think-
detectives.
Go ahead, Stephen.
They deport illegal aliens.
I think the tendency to focus on cities that are coded as and often branded as blue cities is obviously no coincidence. It
No.
furthers
You're right.
a
It's not a
narrative.
coincidence. It's because Democrats harbor illegal
They're
aliens.
not doing
in some
illegal-
fake
they're not
made-up
doing
thing called
immigration
sanctuary
enforcement there.
cities.
Right.
They have sanctuary cities that they call themselves, which is a fake term that is, in my opinion, an insurrection, which is blatantly labeling
does
itself
it-
as violating
Is
federal
there
law.
is there separation?
It's unlawful. I wouldn't call it an insurrection. And yeah, you're right. There are
Yeah, so that's why they're
undocumented
going to the blue cities.
Local-
Because you have like illegal aliens and you protect them and harbor them, and we're trying to get them out.
Oh my God.
It's not that deep. It's not.
What would Jesus do?
No, like,
I mean, I just want to know what Jesus would
there's
do.
no God. There's no God.
What would Jesus do?
I just want to clarify also, while our last questioner was
What
talking,
would Jesus do?
I could just see Nina in the corner of my eye, and that was getting
Steven,
me.
I'm sorry, you were, because I am about to jump out of my skin.
I'm sorry. I'm just like sitting here listening, and you're like, you know what they keep doing? They keep going to the Democrat-run cities.
That's
and I
not.
just think,
That's an easy mystery to solve, but right. Okay, I don't know. I think we have time for one more quick community member participation, and then we got to do some final thoughts and wrap up. Who do we have with us? Please unmute yourself and let us know what's going on.
Hi, Robbie. Hi, guys. This
Hi,
is Colleen,
Thanks for
Long
being here.
Island.
Colleen, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'll just say quickly, I mean, can't comment on everything that's been said, but how the media has handled this has been so divisive and so sad, because this morning, for example, I watched MSNBC. First thing. And you would think that the ICE officer did it. That's what I did. And then when I watched Mark's show at 9, I saw the other video. And I'm like, both sides can be wrong here. And this, it's so polarizing and so sad for the country. Even this discussion, we can't seem to, I can see both. The officer was wrong. I mean, I was raised that way also. If someone from law enforcement tells you to get out of the vehicle, I mean, it hasn't really happened to me, but you get out of the vehicle. So, and he only had a split second to make a decision. I'm not justifying it. It's tragic. It's terrible. But the way the media is covering this and will cover it will just make this carry on and make us more divided than we already are, because no one sees, like it is. I think it's interesting or a valid point that the officer had been attacked by a vehicle recently. So I think that, informs a little bit of how he reacted very quickly. So I think we need the whole picture. Tom Homan even said, we have to investigate this and see exactly what happened. He was kind of a voice of reason.
Yeah,
and
I appreciated his comments very much. I agree.
Yes.
Yeah, he said there should be an investigation. I agree. And yeah, we should know the officer's state of mind, his background, although that could be mitigating toward her too. What if we find out that she had some interaction with a police officer recently that was really unfair to her? Does that then change how we think about how she acted? The only other thing I'll say is, having these videos, you think that's going to help. And we have these video clips from all these different angles. Again, I've seen some of them at different speed levels. And I am just always reminded that video lies to us. It lies to our brains, where people can watch the same thing and be utterly convinced one way, and someone, it's like the blue yellow dress or whatever that, you remember that controversy?
Yeah.
Video can mislead us, even though I think it's better to have it. But I've watched video and go, oh my God, it's clearly this way, and then later you see a more context and you go, oh my God, I was totally wrong about that. So I always like to be careful about that. Thank you so much, Colleen. We appreciate it. Parting thoughts from you guys.
Well, I think just on Colleen's point, and thank you for sharing that, I think extremely important point, is just the rush immediately in the aftermath of this to advance your own side's narrative. So if you're Trump or MAGA, it's ICE is indefensible, they're perfect, and they did nothing wrong. And on the other side, saying that Miss Good is totally innocent, which I think she obviously made some mistakes as well. And I think there needs to be obviously an investigation. Like, that shouldn't even be controversial. If it is, like, we're definitely in trouble. And we want to take a holistic view at this and see. And Robbie, you're right. I mean, you can look at the video from not only different angles, but different speeds. I looked at a lot of different angles. I personally think that if Miss Good wanted to actually run over this ICE agent, she could have, and she didn't. She seemed to be turning away in terms of the actual positioning of her wheels. But, we can further debate that. And I just want everyone who's tuning in at home to recognize that most, two-way being a major exception, most of the media outlets you're seeing and professional commentators are part of what I call a division industrial complex that make a ton of money on making you hate each other and only reinforcing your side. And the enemy of that system is nuanced, and I think that's what we're trying to get to here.
Two Ways, one of the only media platforms that will even bother to give you multiple perspectives on the things that are happening. It's that stark. We're gonna have to real quick. We got like 15-second thoughts from either you guys. Okay, we got to wrap actually. Thank you all so much for participating in this great discussion debate. I think this is a really important topic, and community member comments were really wonderful. We will be back next week. We are continuing along. Merrily we row. Thanks so much. See you then.